problems prove that last year was just fluky for Philly?
They were not fluky last year. They got a little lucky, but there's a big difference. Almost every team that has ever won the Super Bowl has gotten a little lucky. The ball has to bounce your way a little because you're playing other good teams, and if the ball bounces their way,
or they're
a
just
key
blessed.
call here or there, or you avoid injury, that's how it goes. Look, were they likely to repeat as Super Bowl champions? Of course not. Even the favorite is never the favorite. They're just the odds-on favorite. They're still 3, 4, 5 to 1 against at best, right? The Eagles last year. Let's look at this year. Let's look at what's going on this year. They return an injured and still developing quarterback. Their line is banged up, particularly their tackles. Their 2 best linemen, when they're on the field, are banged up. They lost their entire running game, 1 to free agency, 2 to injury. Yeah. They lost their speed guy on the outside. They lost their offensive coordinator, and they lost their quarterback coach. So
that's what happens after you win a Super Bowl.
And then they lost a few close games that were going there. Remember when the Raiders won like 11 games a couple years ago? You knew they really weren't that good because when you win super close games on a lucky bounce here and there, that tends to reverse itself, and now you lose those games or you don't win them all. So all those things have conspired to keep the Eagles as a 500-ish team. Fundamentally, they're a very good team. Going forward, I like their future. They won the Super Bowl on the merits last year. That was not a fluke. They're unlucky now.
I'm not going to disrespect them by saying it was a fluke, but it damn sure looks that way right now. Let's just call it like it is. When you look at Doug Peterson right now, see, I'm going to put it for 2 reasons. Number one, just so you know, Damien, in all seriousness, I'm one of those people who has firmly believed there might have been a different result last year if the Minnesota Vikings hadn't locked up the luckiest play I'd seen since the Immaculate Reception in the 70s with Franco Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Oakland Raiders. I mean, talk about luck last year when Stephon Diggs caught that touchdown pass because of Case Keenum and all of this stuff. I forgot I think it was Lattimore that forgot to just tackle the damn dude, just forgot, for crying out loud. Having said all of that, I believe if Drew Brees had showed up the Lincoln Financial Field in that NFC Championship game instead of Case Keenum, we might have had Drew Brees going up against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Having said that, here's the biggest indictment against Doug Peterson that I'm going to throw your way. Max Kellerman, Damien Woody, from 2009 to 2010 with the Philadelphia Eagles, Doug Peterson was something called an offensive quality control coach. Then he became the quarterback coach over the next 2 seasons. Then he got the job as the offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs for 3 years under Randy Reid before landing as the head coach in Philadelphia. My point is, everything about you has been offense. Why is your offense ranked 21st now from 4th last year? We can look at a lot of different things. I get it. Jason Peters wasn't what he used to be. Lane Johnson's been in and out. I get that. I understand Jay Ajayi goes down. Corey Clement's still there. You move, but you decided to move on from LeGarrette Blount because you had Corey Clement
Sproles
and
is
Wendell
down
Smallwood.
too.
You still have Nelson Aguilar. You still have Alshon Jeffries. You still have Zach Ertz. Okay, you acquired Golden Tate. I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm viewing, regardless of their woes defensively, particularly with the injuries in the secondary, the latest being to Darby, I'm looking at them having scored more than 24 points once this entire season. Inexcusable. Inexcusable with the weapons they have. Inexcusable. I'm looking at Doug Peterson because of that reason.
Well, listen, you would never hear me disrespect anyone for winning a Super Bowl. Right. When you win a Super Bowl, 3 things got to happen for you. Number 1, you got to play well. Number 2, you got to have good health. And number 3, you got to have a little luck on your side. All those 3 combined in the perfect storm, and Philadelphia rolled it to the Super Bowl. God bless them for that. Now, what I've also said is the year after a Super Bowl is literally the hardest year that you could possibly have, because guess what? Every team plays you like it's their Super Bowl. So regardless of what a team's record is, what you see on film is not necessarily what you're going to go out there and play. And Philadelphia is finding out what a lot of other teams have found out in the past. The Patriots have been the only team in recent memory that's repeated as Super Bowl champions. Why? Because it's hard to win the year after the Super Bowl. Combined with the fact that they have injuries on the offensive line. They got departures. All these things that chip away from the team that won the Super Bowl last year, and this is what you have. Now, I'm not going to let Doug Peterson off the hook because he's an offensive-minded head coach, and you need to figure it out when you got a stud quarterback in Carson Wentz who seems to be finding his way. But again, it's hard in the National Football League. You don't see it happen often for a team to go back and try to repeat because there's so many things just mounted up against you as a team.
Doug Peterson, by the way, Stephen A., how many Super Bowls did Bill Parcells win without Bill Belichick? But Bill Parcells is a great coach, and we know this. Of course, if you lose a very talented coordinator, especially in the area that you're known for, it's going to hurt you at least in the short run. I think Peterson's a good coach. I think the Eagles' future is fine, and that was not fluky last year.